Alex, how are you?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you.
So Alex, why did you want to become a marine biologist?
Well, I've always had an interest in our oceans. Like, I love swimming in the water, I just love being in the water. And that inspired me to do scuba diving. And I tried to relate that into a more scientific background as well. So I took on a marine biology degree down in Portsmouth. And the more I dived, just the more I came closer to our wildlife, the more I came to respect it. And with that respect just came desire to protect it, because every time I dive I want to see something awesome and amazing, and if people aren't protecting it then it's not going to be there anymore, and I want it to be there. So that's why I took a degree and took an interest into marine conservation.
You're an aquarium biologist here at the Marine Centre. What does that include? What tasks do you do in a day?
So as the aquarium biologist, I'm tasked to look after our breeding clownfish pairs, making sure everything is pristine and their water quality is okay, feeding them every day and making sure that they are breeding healthily with lots of little babies so that we can hopefully release them back into the wild.
And why is the clownfish breeding important?
Well, ever since the aquarium trade, there's been a lot of demand for clownfish and other exotic saltwater aquarium fish. On top of that, we have the release of Finding Nemo, quite a popular film, which exacerbated the problem, and more people are wanting clownfish within their aquarium, and they usually just take them from the wild and put them straight into tanks. So what we're trying to do here is breed them in situ in our tanks, in the hope that they won't be taken from the wild and that we can release them back into the wild. But then we also want to try and sell back into the aquarium trade, so that people aren't taking them from the wild but they're taking them from us instead.
A fish, what do they eat? How often?
So we feed our fish 4 times a day, and they get a mixture of frozen food, which is a constitution of tuna, prawns, sort of multivitamins, algae, and then on their other half they just get standard aquarium pellets.
Why is algae and rotifers important for the fish?
We grow the algae in order to feed rotifers. The rotifers are tiny little phytoplankton that we feed our baby clownfish. We feed them for about 5 to 8 days on the rotifers, and then they move on to slightly larger artemia, which is more commonly known as sea monkeys, and we feed algae to them as well.
Another side of what you do here is the coral gardening, sorry.
Yes.
What does that do? What do you include in that work?
Well, a lot of the reefs around here, since the coral bleaching event, have been diminished. There are a few species that are quite resilient, so we're trying to take those species, grow them in little gardening areas which are free from tourism and any sort of interaction, so that they're safe in the reef. And then we're going to try and grow them on, hopefully get big enough so that we can place them back onto the reef so they can live there by themselves without us having to maintain them. We have 18 coral frames, 16 of which are sort of, I don't know, they're sort of pyramid shaped, and then we've got 2 satellite ones, but we also have a couple of lines which go across our sea cage as well. So we have a single solar panel which is connected to 8 of our frames. It's a secretion device which helps to promote the growth of calcium carbonate within the skeleton of the coral, because that's how they grow. They secrete a calcium carbonate skeleton and they grow on top of that, and their polyps extrude from that skeleton.
Would you? Oh, very good.